Welcome back, everybody. Time to look at a little more of Grand Tactician, the Civil War, ahead of tomorrow's early access release when the game will be available to everyone who chooses to purchase it on Steam. I thought today, while we're waiting to start a new campaign, which will probably come tomorrow, that we'd take a look at the Summer 1863 campaign start. It's the latest start time that you can choose in taking on a campaign. And for this particular look, we'll go ahead and choose the Confederacy. And you can see their flag has changed because the flag is different. You know, if I choose 61, we've got the Bonnie Blue flag as it was known. 62, we have the Confederate flag that it was used at that time. And then by 1863, we have a different flag. And those are all historic. So what we're going to do is we're not going to choose any kind of bonuses or anything. I'm not really planning on playing through this campaign from start to finish. I mainly just want to take a look at it just to kind of see where things are and maybe fight a battle. So let's go ahead and dive into things as they existed just after the Battle of Chancellorsville in 1863.
Vast bodies of American men in companies, regiments, brigades, armies of tens of thousands strong marched to the beat of the drum, clashing, maneuvering, cheering, yelling, killing, perishing. The rebellion that was to be over in 90 days in a neat showdown is now a war so terrible that America has never before witnessed such ruin. From the ill-organized, poorly drilled, and equally poorly led mass of eager amateurs thrown at the mercy of modern firepower of Minié ball, shot and shelled, disciplined armies of determined veterans emerge. The innovations that once served bringing economic growth and spreading civilization have now been harnessed to serve this terrible war. Steamships clad in iron navigate the waterways, while troop movements and logistical support utilize railroads, transforming war itself from Napoleonic to industrial, providing new means of slaughter in the fields of battle with never-before-seen efficiency. Having secured continuing support in Union policymaking for the time being, President Lincoln is determined to win the war, to again unite the nation. But the prolonged war and the mounting casualties are starting to take their toll, with the number of volunteers diminishing and political rivals in support of immediate peace with the South emerging with louder voices. To silence these voices, Lincoln needs decisive military victories. As long as the Union armies are victorious, so long the people will fight. If the willingness of the citizen to fight dies down, so will any hopes of restoring the Union. In the South, the war that was supposed to ensure independence, preferably with the support of the sympathizers of the Southern cause, has reached a point of no return. With the war dragging on, and with the seemingly inexhaustible Northern resources against them, chances of victory seem to slip farther into horizon. For the South to prevail, decisive action must be taken to break the Northern spirits and armies, to force them to award the Southern states their independence in choosing their own destiny. That is their God-given right, even if achieving it means unprecedented suffering, want, and slaughter. War means fighting, and fighting means killing.
I love these videos that introduce each chapter, so to speak, of the war. So this is 1863. Let's go ahead and take a look at the situation. Obviously, there's the strategy screen here. We have Robert E. Lee. We have Henry Halleck, who's the commanding general of the Union armies. Both morales start at 100 on this campaign. National support higher in the north than it is in the south. National morale much higher in the south than in the north. Men fielded, you can see that there. Navy tonnage, obviously a huge advantage to the north. Military experience, battles won, total casualties, European relations. Let's go ahead and take a look then at the military situation. And you can see each of the 23 garrisons and armies that are available right now to the south. The Department of Richmond has a few units defending it. Department of North Carolina under D.H. Hill. Simon Buckner's Army of East Tennessee. We have the Army of Eastern Louisiana. We've got the Trans-Mississippi Department under Edmund Kirby Smith. Let's see what else we've got. Department of South Carolina, Georgia, and Florida under P.G.T. Beauregard. The Army of Tennessee under Braxton Bragg with Corps under Polk, Hardy, Wheeler, Earl Van Dorn. Looks like Bedford Force Cavalry, and then an independent brigade there. The Army of Mississippi under Pemberton, that's the one that's going to be defending Vicksburg. Army of the West, currently under Joseph Johnston. The Army of Northern Virginia under Longstreet, Ewell, and Hill. This is basically, and then Jeb Stuart, this is basically the army that invades the North and fights at the Battle of Gettysburg. So it's pretty well made up of units for that purpose. Here we can look at the paper map filters, and you can look at different things. For example, here we have the front lines, so you can see what areas are controlled by the Confederacy, which areas are controlled by the North. Intelligence, same deal. Kind of just shows you where you can best get your information and where you really don't see anything at all. Your workforce. And I think if we hover over each of these things, it might give us a little more information. Maybe not. So these are areas that you probably want to target with your armies if you want to try and disrupt the economy. Here's where you can see where slavery is most active. Trade and supply. And then the support based on different areas, whether pro-Union, pro-Confederacy, etc. So as we zoom in a little closer, we can get a look at the actual military situation on the ground. And you can see here where the Confederate forces are arrayed in Tennessee. You've got Nathan Bedford Forrest Cavalry Corps here. And then you've got the Corps under the Army of Tennessee all here. Up here we've got the 20th Corps, the 14th Corps, and the 21st Corps, as well as other ones that we can't see. The question marks are just because we don't have enough intelligence about those units. These units that are up closer, we do have that information. So we have the 20th Corps under the Army of Cumberland with almost 13,000 men. The 14th Corps, also Army of the Cumberland. So as they're closer, we get a little bit more of that intelligence. The Army of the Cumberland itself, we do have some information, 58,000 men total. Let's see where the Army of the Tennessee is and the Army of the Ohio. So here's the 16th Corps. I'm assuming that's part of the Army of the Tennessee. So that's Grant's army. And Grant, at this point, would already be well underway toward laying siege to Vicksburg. In fact, I think the siege of Vicksburg actually began in May of 1863. Okay, so this is just before. So he's getting ready to make his way up. I believe they attacked Jackson first, which I guess Jackson would be right here, where the Department of the West is. And then they laid siege to Vicksburg. Just a brilliant campaign by Grant to get his army in position to be able to lay siege to Vicksburg. So that's all about to happen here. And then we'll look at the situation in the east because Lee's about to begin his Gettysburg campaign at this point. And you can see where the armies are arrayed here. We've got the 1st Corps, that'd be Longstreet's Corps, 20,000 men. 2nd Corps is Ewell. 3rd Corps over here, A.P. Hill. The cavalry division here. And so Lee historically would be making a kind of a swing around this way to cross over and get up at Gettysburg. So we'll play a little of this, maybe play a battle or two, see what happens. So the first thing I'm going to do is we're going to make some things ahistorical by adding some units to some of these corps and divisions. I've added some brigades to the army under Pemberton that's defending Vicksburg. Now we're going to add a few Virginia units to the Army of Northern Virginia, try and bulk his numbers up a little bit before he goes into battle against what I guess would pretty soon be George Meade's Army of the Potomac. So now that things are working as they should for me, I just want to real quick show some of the perks that are available to armies and corps. These are different than the perks that are available to individual units in some cases. So you've got Siege Train 1. This heavy siege artillery is assembled into what is called a siege train and transported to take part in sieges only. The siege train consists of heavy rifled artillery and mortars. Field Telegraph 1, orders are sent via wire faster than couriers can ride, decreasing order delays. Balloon Corps 1, a hot air balloon, and someone crazy enough to take it up under enemy fire to report enemy movement. So it's going to give us a better understanding of it. I really like that, actually, as a possibility. Bureau of Military Information 1, using civilians as detectives and spies, and gathering the information in an organized fashion improves the situational awareness of this unit. Skilled Cartographers 1, drawing maps is an art. Drawing accurate maps that actually benefit their military users is rare. Flying Column 1, copying the French invention, it is possible to break free from the heavy logistical chain. Its simplicity is to carry more rations and less clothing and tents to allow longer and faster marches. I like that too. Foot Cavalry 1, with inspiring leadership and familiarization with the hardships of forced marches, the men will keep going longer than you thought possible. I don't really use forced marches too often. Engineers and Mechanics 1. Organizing the civil engineers and construction experts from all units into a single unit to be used at a time of need will allow quicker construction progress. So that works if you're constructing forts and things like that. Ambulance Corps 1, that obviously is going to help with care of wounded soldiers. Pontoon Train 1, pontoon bridges are used to quickly cross rivers with all the equipment the Army carries. These bridges are made of wood or India rubber, which are better than nothing. Sappers and miners. The soldiers in the armies include many with mining background. Organizing these men to sap toward enemy field works would make assaults a lot less costly. Land torpedoes 1. A land torpedo is an anti-personnel explosive, a barbarous subterranean booby trap to hinder enemy movement, especially to cover withdrawal. Partisan Brigades 1, using conventional cavalry forces for deep raids, will harass enemy movements in their rear, making this unit good at distracting the enemy. So, yeah, if we had like a division of partisans, so you can make partisans and you can give them that perk to make them even better at that particular role. Bushwhackers 1, a form of guerrilla warfare. Bushwhacking aims to attrit the enemy using ambushes against military forces and civilian targets alike with non-uniformed irregular cavalry. Embedded reporters. In a time of fast-traveling news, allowing newspaper reporters to follow the unit in battle will make the deeds of the leaders better known to the public. A couple more to go here. We have Limelights 1. Chemical lamps using superheated balls of lime or calcium oxide create a glow known from lighthouses and theaters, but now also adapted for combat, allowing the illumination of enemy targets for nighttime bombardment. Expert Scouts 1. This unit has organized a band of hand-picked cavalrymen that have the skills to avoid detection by enemy pickets and the bravery to move behind enemy lines in small groups. River Expedition 1, operating closely with the Brownwater Navy. This unit is used to navigating the rivers and opening new fronts against enemy fortifications guarding the waterways. That was something that Grant's armies were very good at. So for now, we'll just do the Ambulance Corps. I'll also take a look at all the brigade perks that are available once we get into a combat situation. Okay, here we go. Grant's Army of the Tennessee is in contact with the Vicksburg garrison of the Army of Mississippi. What are your orders? Let's go ahead and play it. When Grant first surrounded Vicksburg, he did actually do an assault right away. And I've been listening to Grant's memoirs, which are fantastic, by the way, and I highly recommend it. I've been listening to it on Audible. Grant talked about this because one of the things he actually mentioned was that, even though a siege made sense, after all the work the men had done, and he was constantly kind of thinking about national morale too. He was thinking about how the country was viewing how the war was going. He talks a lot about this. And he said they had to assault when they first surrounded Vicksburg. They had to make that attempt, even though it failed. he had to make the attempt for a number of reasons, and he explains a lot of those reasons. So looks like we're going to get right into the action here. Since this isn't actually a siege of the town itself, this is a battle that's fighting outside. We're actually going to be fighting this, it looks like, on the, even though it says Battle of Vicksburg, we're fighting this on the Manassas battlefield. And there are some generic battlefields, too, that I've seen. I've seen a few of them now that don't really fit any of the other things that you see. So the strength report right now, we have 30,000, almost 31,000 men. The Union will have 58,000 just infantry when they're all present, but they're not all here right now. So this is going to be a tough one. But I'm not really playing the campaign to win. I'm just trying to show some things. So we'll play a little of this, mainly so I can show you some of the perks. All right, my scouts have brought me probable reports of troops from a corps belonging to McPherson joining the battle. The numbers are reportedly 21,000 infantry, 1,500 cavalry with 65 guns. So this is interesting because in the Vicksburg campaign, I believe my fourth great grandfather was in McPherson's corps. Let me see if I can take a look and see what units are attached to, I think that's the 17th Corps is McPherson. I don't know which division's which. If I see the brigade, I'll know. John Smith. I'm going to look around a little bit here. Yeah, right here. The 2nd Brigade under Mortimer Leggett. That, I believe, is my fourth great grandfather's brigade that he was a part of during this battle. He was in the 20th Ohio Volunteer Infantry. Man was 55 years old when he enlisted in the fall of 1861 here in Ohio. Too old to serve. I believe 45 was the age limit, so he lied and said he was 44, but we know from all the other records that he was 55. And he fought with the 20th Ohio all the way from the fall of 1861. He was at Shiloh. He's in the Vicksburg campaign. He was at the battles in Chattanooga, Kennesaw Mountain, the siege of Atlanta. And he actually, when he completed his 3 years, he went home right before Sherman's march to the sea. But served faithfully throughout that whole thing. His son, William, was a musician with the 20th Ohio. I don't know what instrument he played. Probably either a bugler or a drummer or something. But he marched with them as well. So we're getting into position here, and I'm basically going to put all my divisions at the choke points, at the bridges. And we're going to be vastly outnumbered in this battle. And again, I'm not really worried about playing the campaign so much as just taking a first look at the 1863 start, but then I also want to just do a little bit of an overview of the perks once we fight enough to actually get a couple of perks. So I'm going to get these guys into position so that they're actually guarding the choke point itself. We'll put a couple of brigades up front, and then we'll hold the rest in reserve, and we'll have our artillery maybe like right here. Some folks have asked about friendly fire. I still don't know where things stand with friendly fire, whether or not that's a thing or not. And I'll do the same with the other brigades to get them ready for the attacks that might come. And wouldn't you know it, that one of the first units I see arrive on the field is Mortimer Leggett's brigade. There it is right there. I feel really bad firing at them. Although by that point, my ancestor's daughter, who I descend through, was already having children of her own, so that wouldn't affect my existence. But we'll see where they attack. We're trying to get in position here. It looks like they might come to Ball's Ford, so let's go ahead and get our infantry down a little closer. It looks like our artillery may already be engaged. In fact, let's see what the Sherman arrives, McClernand arrives, so all three Union Corps are here now. McClernand was a thorn in the side of Ulysses S. Grant. Grant desperately wanted to remove him, but knew that politically and just militarily it wasn't the right time, but he actually did end up removing him finally during the Vicksburg campaign. McClernand ended up reporting something, like leaking something to the press, and that gave Grant the excuse he needed to finally remove McClernand from command, something he probably should have done a long time before he ended up doing it. So he's heading up there. He's kind of checking things out. So I'm going to try to guard all these crossings as best I can. Who's this here? 1,800 men. So my battery up here, it is Bowen's artillery, 12-pounder howitzers. Actually, if I bring them down here, I might be able to get canister fire going on any units crossing the bridge. Or crossing the ford. There's no bridge there. In fact, that's what a lot of these are. They're not really bridges. There's the stone bridge here. But otherwise, they're really just fords for crossing the river at low points. Alright, I think Smith's going to engage us. Oh yeah, he definitely is. I've left initiative and cover and high ground on for my commanders. I'm just going to kind of let them do their own thing and see how they do. But I feel like this should go pretty well here. We'll see how quickly these guys get their first perks. We got Springfield muskets, Enfield muskets. Those are pretty good. All right, the guns are engaged, so they're not going to move. It doesn't look like. Oh man, he got across. But now he's going to be fired on from both sides. You can see he's being outflanked. It'll get demoralized quickly. He's rushing another unit in. 2nd Brigade, please tell me that's not Mortimer Leggett. I think it is. Yep, that's Leggett. Here comes my ancestor. Crossing. Who? Alright. Who's supposed to be guarding Lewis Ford? I think it's B's division supposed to be here. Here comes a 3rd Brigade. We got another artillery unit up here. I don't know who they're supposed to be firing on, but they're obviously not in position, not firing. But so far, so good. Let's see what the reports are telling us. Oh yeah, beautiful so far. Okay, and we've already got ourselves a perk. It doesn't take much. I guess the idea being that once a unit has fought in combat, pretty quickly they get enough experience to not be a brand new unit anymore. So it says if they've undergone enough drill or collected enough experience, you can assign specializations to the units to improve its abilities in a certain direction. The amount of available perks is limited for each nation depending on its policies and technologies. So we may actually see additional perks available depending on technology and policy. So that's pretty awesome too. I like that a lot. So we have Engineering 1. One company in this unit is specially trained for engineering duties, allowing them to assemble pontoons during battles while also increasing the speed of digging in. Sharpshooters 1, a company of men in this unit are handpicked marksmen, increasing the accuracy of the unit's fire. We have Zouave 1, trained to fight according to the French chasseurs à pied theories. This unit is drilled in fast movement on the battlefield. Expert skirmishers, these men are specially trained for skirmishing and picket duties, skilled in using the terrain for concealment. So, you can see how maybe in each division having a specialized unit of one kind or another allows you a lot more freedom to kind of make decisions. Of course, that's going to mean more micromanaging of those units to make the most of them. But Spirited Charge 1, trained especially in the use of bayonet in close combat, these men in this unit are confident in their charge. Deadly Volley 1, this unit is trained vigorously in maintaining fire discipline, releasing their volley only when the effect is assured. Ace of Spade, these men are trained to always improve their cover provided using spades or whatever they have on hand. And Iron Discipline. I love that they have the little Iron Brigade hat there for that. These men are trained to high standards of discipline, and they understand the meaning of keeping their ranks together under fire. So I like that too. I think in this case we're going to go with Deadly Volley for that unit. And this one's actually already got sharpshooters, so... All right, they threw back Leggett and Stevenson's brigades already, so a good start there. Now I'm looking at this here. Oh, that's a brigade. I thought it was like a bridge or something, but that's just a brigade that's actually crossing here. I got to get these units moved up a little bit. They're not quite engaging yet. Now I could give them fire orders from there, but I'd rather get them in closer to be more accurate with their fire. I didn't quite get them in position at Lewis's Ford in time. So this could work pretty well to hold back against a stronger opponent if I can stop him at all these choke points. You can see here only 15 killed, 94 wounded compared to 200 killed for the Union. All right, so here he comes again. This time he's sending skirmishers down to the banks of the creek near Lewis's Ford. And he's definitely loading up for what appears like that being his main focal point. I've got one brigade under Tillman up here guarding this bridge. And it seems like for the most part, this is where he's concentrating. I do not understand why Loring is taking his division over there when I've given them orders to guard the stone bridge. This may be a situation where I have to tell Loring do not take initiative, because he's obviously not doing what I want him to do. So he's just really engaging with skirmishers right now. He's not doing anything with the main part of his army now that he tried to make that crossing and was rebuffed. It does look like he's got some artillery doing some work over here. We've got 2 batteries, so I'm going to give both of them orders for counter battery fire. Try and take him out. That's the 3rd Division Artillery. So it looks like he's going to make a little probe here against the stone bridge, where I've got just the 1 brigade defending at the moment, but the rest of the division's on its way. And very quickly we open up on the cavalry. And so he's feuding with his commander, so he's kind of taking his own initiative. He may not have been ordered to cross that bridge like that. Now, the feud is something you can turn off. It's in the settings. In fact, I'll show you those. Right here, European intervention, fog of war, order delays, and feuds are all optional. Now, I highly recommend using them because it gives you a much more realistic battle situation. But hey, you do what you want. It's your game. So far, this feels like it's working. At some point, he's going to get smart and, I think, try to attack me across this bridge. Now, I didn't turn up AI aggressiveness. I think in a full campaign, I will, because I want him to be more aggressive. I want him to act more realistic and not just kind of sit here and get shot at like that. Looks like he's sending perhaps a division down here to maybe, once again, try and cross at this spot. I don't know why Tillman's turned and faced the other way now. It's a great way to get shot. Might be because I gave orders to the whole division, and so he was getting in position based on that. Oh, it looks like we've got some reinforcements arriving. Joe Johnston's Department of the West is on the field. That's helpful. Let's go ahead and move him right into the center for now, and then we'll figure out where we want him from there. Where does that put us in numbers now? All right, so we're still outnumbered by quite a bit, but things are still looking pretty favorable casualty-wise. I love that you can see the Union dead from where they tried to attack across. Let's hope my 4th grade grandfather isn't among those men that are lying there. So now he's got a full brigade up on the line over here. That's actually my ancestors' unit again, I think. Well, it's 2nd Brigade. That could be a different division, actually. Yeah, it's from the 7th Division. Yeah, light them up. I don't have artillery over here. That's the only thing I don't like, because I've got 2 units of artillery on this side. Let's go ahead and look back up here and kind of get a bird's eye view of what's happening. Still no action over on my left, but I'm not going to leave that open, just because I know how quickly that could change. Also no action over here at Poplar Ford. He's really focused on this area here. Now, maybe if I had him set to a higher aggressiveness, he might be more willing to do those kinds of things. I don't know. All right. Mortimer Leggett's brigade's going to make an attempt here at Island Ford. These guys are brave, man. This is the second time they've made an attack across a ford. Not sure what we're waiting on here. Let's get them turned and firing. There we go. These poor guys. I almost feel bad. Almost. Alright, he's attacked across this fort as well. That's the second Union attack coming across there. Alright, nothing else happening right here. Looks like he's got a full division right here. Remember, he's got 3 corps out there, so he's really just not even come close to using his full force right now. Thankfully, we've got new units to come in and help reinforce. Okay, here's the situation now. 3,200 casualties on his side, about 1,000 for me. Those are the kinds of odds we're going to need to have continue if we're going to have a chance of holding him off. Well, he just snuck skirmishers across where there was no ford. I wasn't expecting that. And he's actually sneaking in right on one of my division commanders here, so we're going to have to get some help in to deal with that. Thankfully, we've got Loring's division coming up now. So let's go ahead and send a couple of his brigades in to help. Send John Gregg and who's the other one? Daniel Adams. Looks like now he's loading up for an attack here at Lewis Ford again. All right. Can see more units coming in. Maybe for another attack over here. I don't know yet. Let's look at the numbers now. 222 killed on my side, 500 for him. It's about 7% casualties for him, 4 for me. Obviously, he can withstand the casualties more than I can, but as long as we're going at about a 2 or 3 to 1 clip, I think we'll be okay. Definitely a lot of action happening here right now. Now, these guys are not in a traditional line because they're taking advantage of the high ground, which is fine. We'll let them keep doing that. So as long as it's not hurting their flank, which it looked like it might be now. Yeah. So we're going to have to turn them to deal with the flank issue. There we go. So as long as everything's green, that's good. Red's bad. It's an easy way to keep track of what's happening. I need to back them up a little bit. I really need to get some artillery over there to support these guys. Why? We must still be waiting on orders to go out to these units here. Oh, that's why. Because these are a part of Johnston's unit, and I don't know why he's still back here. Oh, he's still got more units arriving. The rest of his force isn't here yet, so he's sitting all the way back there until they do. That's why it's taken a while for those orders to arrive. Let's go ahead. There's not a lot happening here. Let's go ahead and bring one of these batteries over to support the defense at this crossing. It's only about, well, it's about 4 o'clock in the afternoon now. About 2 to 1 casualties at the moment. Okay, there go Greg and Adams. They're finally going to get their units into position over here. I've got it on 4 times speed right now. I'm just kind of advancing things along because for the most part, not a lot happening other than our continued defense. But you can see more units arriving all the time. We're waiting for this battery to get limbered up and over here to help out with the... Oh boy, okay. So it looks like one of our units did just get broken. That was this brigade here. He's lost 550 men. My goodness, I didn't realize it was that bad for him. Probably the artillery firing on him from 2 positions along with infantry just kind of got overwhelming eventually. So we'll probably need to send some more help. I think we can probably spare a brigade. Featherston, send him over there. You know, it may have actually been these skirmishers firing into Featherston's flank that drove him off, but now we've got men there to deal with that. So we'll drive them back. It wasn't, well, was it Featherston? Yeah, it was. Featherston reformed and he said, forget you, dude. We've got this. Oh, he wasn't the one who broke. It was Shoop who broke. That's why I'm getting confused. But they lasted a while. They fired 30 rounds. So let's get Featherston over here now. We need Greg and Adams to move up to the edge of this hill at least. Now that that happened, I think the numbers may not be as favorable to me. Oh, they're still not too bad. But now it's 6% losses on my side and 7% for him. We can't continue that. All right, now my brigade on the left just broke here at Lewis Ford. I think the only thing that may help me is if nightfall arrives before he can complete the attack. But he's obviously intent on crossing here. We've still got those skirmishers there. I don't know why we haven't driven them off yet. They're flanked. Maybe we should break off some skirmishers of our own to deal with them. So we'll deploy a company of skirmishers from each of these 2 brigades. Maybe deploy one from Featherston's brigade as well. It'll take a minute for those orders to come in. Once they do, hopefully they'll deal with that. I'm sending Green over to help out. I'll go ahead and speed things up a little bit. It's May, so I would guess May in Mississippi. We're probably looking at least 8 o'clock or so before nightfall. Here he comes crossing the stone bridge. Let's see what happens here. Oh, somebody was wounded. Baldwin was wounded. Still waiting on these skirmishers to break off. Oh, he's got a brigade crossing. Go ahead and slow things down. Baldwin's been wounded, but we've got some upgrades that are available now. Oh man, he's sending a force. Now that I've weakened this division, let's get Walker over here. It's going to take a while to get those orders, though. Now he's pressing the attack here. Seems like we're getting attacks everywhere now. He's coming at this crossing. He's got one break. Okay, Boomer. One coming across right here, or at least fainting at me there. What happened here? Dennis arrives. Another core. Oh, that's what we need. What's that make the numbers look like now? All right, so far about 52 to 33, still about the same as where they were, and casualties are evening out, which is not good news for me. I don't even have anybody defending this crossing over here. Darn it. And we've already given Walker orders to come over here to help out, so I really don't have much to spare. None of these units that I ordered to deploy skirmishers have done so far. Let's try it again. Featherston hasn't even been firing. What's that about? Oh, that's why he's got a short range order. I got to pay attention to those things better. Featherston's been standing there that whole time and not firing on anyone. He's gonna come down at me here. I can't hold against these numbers. Now that he's coordinating his attack and attacking in multiple places. All right, now we have fighting still erupting here. Seeing some of the heaviest fighting of the entire battle. He's finally crossed at the one place I wasn't guarding along this line. He finally found where it was and he got across. That's going to turn my flank, I'm afraid. Thankfully, the end of the day has happened. So let's see what we can do. Unfortunately, my redeployment line is back here, so I can't do anything to redeploy unless I fall back from all the bridges, which I may have to do just because of the resource situation. 2,500 wounded. Supply is good from the commander there about that. So what we may have to do here is redeploy from Poplar Ford, bring Forney's division over, and then move them up as soon as I have an opportunity. Oh, it looks like I can. Good. So we're just going to have to give up that crossing over there in favor of protecting my flank here. All right, we're right back at it. You can see that we're heavily engaged right here. Down here, things are pretty quiet at the moment. I don't know why this brigade, this artillery's down here, these 12-pounder howitzers. But I guess they can get some good canister fire going from there. No, I don't want to change your orders. We got McCandless's brigade attacking us here. That should be a pretty easy win for me. We've got upgrades available too. Switch these guys over to a long range so they'll fire on this brigade. Take a minute for those orders to come in. All right. Looks like we've backed off a little bit from the bridge. But he's deploying now on this side. All right, still so far so good. 10% on my side, 11% for him. I just don't think we can sustain those kinds of casualties long term. All right, this is going to be the turning point, I think, is over on my right flank. He's gotten a unit across. We're in melee combat right by the stone bridge now. He's also got units over here that are engaging and probably going to overwhelm me. And he's probably going to turn that flank, and I think that's pretty much going to seal my fate. Because we're holding pretty well just about everywhere else. Just think that's probably going to do me in. Just didn't have enough men to cover every crossing as I should. And it's an all-out attack by the Union now. He's pressing on all fronts. But still, taking a lot of casualties in doing so. If we could just somehow drive these guys back. And I have all of my commanders using their own initiative. So they broke Lee. So hopefully they'll respond to what's happening. But he's got a whole division slamming into my right. And I don't think there's anything much I can do about that. Oh my gosh. Oh no, I'm sorry. That's the whole army of the Mississippi. Alright, let's give Moore the bayonet and close combat perk. It can come in really handy right now. Buford's doing okay. Another attack coming here. I think we're good with those 3 brigades. We should be able to turn them back okay. Man, if we can just hurl back what's happening there. And look at the numbers now. So he launched that heavy charge on my right, and we've pretty well shattered it. 2 more brigades being driven back. Good stuff. Be interesting to see what his numbers look like once if those brigades end up leaving the field. His killed is almost 500 more than mine now. 17% losses on his side, 13% from me. So now it's just 8 o'clock in the morning on the second day of the battle. Now he's just throwing everything he can at my center. Look at the blue that are dead in front of me. Tell you what, these few divisions that I'm fighting with have just been doing some incredible work. Now we've got some ammunition issues now. Baldwin's low on ammo. Oh boy, that's a problem. Have we gotten any reinforcements? Looks like Johnston's still waiting on somebody. Oh, there's an artillery battery back here. If we move them, I wonder if that moves Johnston up. Maybe that's the only thing he was waiting on, because it was separate from the rest of the infantry as far as command goes. That's why they hadn't moved with the rest. All right, let's reform our division here. They've pretty well hurled back that attack on my right. Most of the attack now is right here at my center. Now he's got twice as many killed as me. That's fantastic. That's what I needed. That might have been a turning point in the battle. Okay, some of his units have started withdrawing from the field, but he's still pressing the attack, and you can see he's getting on Featherston's flank here. This could be an issue if I don't deal with it. Where's my... Oh, I lost my cursor for a minute there. I'm going to change our facing and deal with these guys. All right, let's see what the numbers look like now. Now he's 41,000. I'm at just under 30,000. 24% losses for him, 15 for me. That's what I need. I just need it to continue, and I'm afraid that ammo is going to become an issue for me before this day is over because he's just got so many fresh units he can hurl at me. I may need to get a little more aggressive here. I don't know what he's got back here, but I think I'm going to probably have to bring this division across. See if we can try to crush his right flank. I'm going to keep this battery where it is, though, or at least move it over here. Let's go ahead and speed time up a little bit. Okay, so we're bringing them across. I didn't want the artillery to get brought across. I wanted them to stay over there, but I guess they were following the initial orders. And you can see several more units have been broken. I think I may have this battle. I think that his failed attack on my right, which I thought was going to be the turning point in his favor, may have ended up being the turning point in my favor instead. I think we may see him withdraw here. Let's go ahead and speed things along and see what happens. We're at 10 o'clock in the morning now. I think we'll go ahead and let him keep attacking a little bit longer. Oh yeah, 2,000 killed now. But 28% losses for an army of that size is huge. I may do a ceasefire soon just because of my supply issues. If he agrees to it, that'll help me tremendously. Let's see what happens. He may end up withdrawing because of it. Yep, we're going to advance to the next day. That ceasefire's pretty handy for such a time as this, where I need to resupply my troops. And that gives him a chance to withdraw some more of his forces, but it looks like we're going to continue to fight. We'll see what the numbers look like now. Now he's down to just 29,000 men. 36% lost. We've got this. All right, it took a while, but we won a major Confederate victory over the Army of Tennessee, and Ulysses S. Grant. He lost 23,000 of his 58,000 men. He lost 70 guns. I lost 62 guns, which actually hurts me a lot because that was a lot of my number. I lost 11,000 men, so obviously long term, those are losses that I can ill afford to replace. But we're not playing the whole campaign, so let me know your thoughts about the 1863 campaign. I'm excited for you guys to get your hands on this game tomorrow, and we're going to start a proper campaign probably tomorrow. I was actually talking to the developer just today about my concerns about the 1861 campaign. There's an attrition issue, and I think he's figured out what it is. It has something to do with rain causing way more attrition than it should. So that's going to be resolved in the next patch. So I may wait for that next patch to do an 1861 campaign, but we may start an 1862 campaign here soon. But let me know your thoughts. Drop a like if you would, and we will see you again real soon with more content from this game. Have a great day, everybody.